Hey, what's up? My name is Dave, and as you know, I interpret everything, and today I'm going to be interpreting It Ends With Us, a 2024 romantic drama film adapted from a book written by Colleen Hoover with the same name. It stars Blake Lively as Lily Bloom, a flower shop owner who gets into a relationship with a dashing man named Ryle, played by the director of the film, Justin Baldoni. Things get a little bit heated, however, when a past love of Lily's shows up by the name of Atlas. Lily and Atlas bonded over shared trauma of domestic abuse, which she soon discovers history really does repeat itself, as she soon discovers Ryle's darker side. Before you ask, yes, I did actually read the book. That's because I've actually read a fair amount of Colleen Hoover's novels. I know it's stereotypical to automatically just say that the book is better, so I promise you that I'm not just saying this, but the book's better. That's because the movie is, more often than not, pretty awful. Now look, I'll be the first to admit that I didn't even really care all that much about the book. The book's fine. But out of everything that Colleen Hoover has written, or at least what I've read of hers, this was probably one of my least favorite books, simply because it was the most stereotypical, or maybe just kind of safe narratives, when she usually writes stuff that feels a lot more original or engaging. However, that's not to say that the book is bad on its own. The book had a very strong message regarding abuse trauma, as well as cycles that are not only hard to escape from, but also hard to pick up on the signs that history might be repeating itself. And look, abuse is a very difficult subject to tackle in film. You have to do it with grace and dignity, and it must be a narrative that understands the complexity that goes with that trauma, as it's the soul of the rest of the film, or at least it should be. The first mistake that this movie makes, and to be fair, I'm pretty sure that the fault actually lies with Colleen Hoover, is that the casting choice of Blake Lively was not the best. From what I understand, Blake is one of Hoover's favorite actresses, so it was probably her first pick. No disrespect intended here, but as great of a performance that Lively sometimes presents in the movie, the way that she's playing the part is not believable in terms of somebody who has previously actually been traumatized by violence. And what's worse, if you look at interviews that she's done about the movie, almost everything that she has said about it has been very surface level and shallow, acting as though the movie that she is in is a silly rom-com and little else, which is far from the truth.
But for people who see this movie, who relate to the topics of this movie on a deeply personal level, they're really going to want to talk to you. This movie is going to affect people, and they're going to want to tell you about their life. So if someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
Like asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you, and then we could
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
But that does give us a little bit of insight as to why she plays her character with less sincerity, as you might expect for a trauma victim. That being said, the actress who plays a younger version of Blake, Isabel Ferrer, perfect. She's perfect. She's a better Lily than Blake is. And what's more, she actually looks, sounds, and acts exactly like Blake, complete with a real birthmark on her cheek that wildly mirrors Blake's own. The casting for Atlas as well was pretty good. So not all of the casting was bad, but I didn't really care that much for the two leads casting-wise. Again, their performances were fine. It was even good. I will say that. It was good. But they had zero chemistry. None. Not one iota. You might think that that's the point. You gotta hate an abuser, right? But it's really not the point. You're supposed to be pulled in right away to this relationship and feel their chemistry like it's your own, so that when the abuse starts to hit, you're supposed to feel just as betrayed and hurt as her. But instead, the entire movie ends up feeling like a better budgeted Lifetime movie. Meaning, for those of you that haven't read the book, it'll feel massively average, predictable, stereotypical maybe, but overall adequately made. And for those of you that actually read the book, you'll feel annoyed, disappointed, and even offended that a story that should be extremely simple to make took as many detours as it seemed to take to feel as distractingly trope heavy. Now, had I made the movie, I would have recast pretty much all the leads here just to be slightly younger, maybe 5 to 10 years younger, and I would have had them spend a week together, minimum, for chemistry training. It is incredibly important that they have the correct kind of chemistry. I would even go as far to cast actors and actresses that specifically have had trauma with domestic abuse and want to spread a message or social commentary on the subject, because that alone will help wonders. At that point, you won't even need too much acting, because some of that stuff you really just can't fake. And trying to fake it just, well, it looks fake. All in all, I will be rating this a D-. I will admit that the first half of the film, I was convinced my score was gonna be a failing F letter grade based off of the direction everything was headed and how wrong and fake and misguided everything felt. It does get better in the second half of the film though, and certain choices were made that I thought were decent. But overall, at a certain point, there's really not much that you can do to make the film better. I'll just say that it was decent enough to not utterly fail, but not much more than that. But what about you guys though? Have you seen It Ends With Us? Are you a fan of it? Are you not? Also, did you read the book? Have you read any of the books in Colleen Hoover's bibliography? And also, which book would you like to see adapted? My vote is on Verity. As for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next movie review, whenever and whatever that may be. And until then, peace out.